It's kind of informative to understand the wines of France.
Exactly.
And you see them on wine lists. And I think when people are learning about wine and they walk in a wine shop, sometimes those old world regions can be a bit intimidating.
Yes, yes. I think ground zero conversation for grapes and wine from around the world is the varieties and the regions they came from. Grapes are hundreds and hundreds of years old. All the grapes that we use originated primarily in France. And kind of the confusion comes from the fact that all the wines that we have in the New World are named after the varietals. We use the name of the variety of grape.
Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay.
Sauvignon Blanc, all that. And then in France, interesting, or all over, France, Italy, Spain, all those regions, they actually had the name of the places down before the grape varieties, because they were literally just wild vines that were making grapes.
So at one point in time, they may have only known where they came from, but not what they were.
Exactly, exactly. So, and then as they made wine and made enough to send to another region of Europe or even across to America or something like that, the names of the wines were only known by the actual little area they were grown in. So that's why you have a wine like Champagne, a wine like Bordeaux. There's no mention of grape varieties very much on these wines because the grape variety is implied. In these areas, all the grape varieties, it's not like the New West, the New World of America where we're just experimenting with everything everywhere. They actually have hundreds and hundreds of grape varieties that have been used in little tiny specific areas of Europe that they just assumed was what they used. And it was not that important. It was more where they were grown and how they were made, and then how they were essentially marketed.
For centuries.
Right. Call that place name wines. We have varietal name wines and place name wines. But all the, quote, place name wines of Europe are all named after a place with a grape variety implied. Okay. So they have, in America, you're sort of free to do whatever you want to do. But in Europe, it's not like it's socialism or something like that that's the government's telling you what to do. But if you want to use the name, let's say Bordeaux, you have to use the Bordeaux varietals. You have to use Cabernet Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot. You have to use those varieties in a blend. Otherwise, you just can't call it Bordeaux. If you all of a sudden made Syrah in Bordeaux, you can make it, you can sell it, you're free to sell it, but you just can't call it Bordeaux.
And likewise, you can't grow those grapes in another part of the world and call it Bordeaux, or more specifically, Champagne, right?
Correct.
There's a big controversy. You can make sparkling wine other places, can't call it Champagne.
Correct. So the place is tied to the type of wine in Europe is tied to the place with the grape variety implied. And that's kind of the good thing to start with.
It's a great way to break it down. And now maybe we can go over probably the top 4 regions in France that people should know about, and then we'll move on. So where would you like to start?
Certainly. Well, let's start with the bubbles. I mean, bubbles are the great way to kind of start an evening or start to drink wine.
Or a conversation.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, they're a great thing. Again, in Champagne, where kind of sparkling wine really started in France, they gravitated to 2 grape varieties, Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. They found that those varieties worked really well for them. They took the red grape, Pinot Noir, and what you do is you give it a kind of a quick pressing without macerating the color in the skins, and you get a clear juice from Pinot Noir. Mix it with the clear juice you get from Chardonnay, white grape, and you can get a kind of a blend. So your typical Champagne is a blend of Pinot Noir, a red grape, and Chardonnay, a white grape, mixed together to make a sparkling wine.
And I think people find that surprising when they're not familiar with the idea that you can actually strip the grape of skin contact and make white wine out of a red grape.
Or just you can think of it another way as like a super pale rosé.
Okay, right.
It's like you're making a rosé. There's different ways to make rosés, but it's like that. And there are some versions of sparkling wine that have a little color. There is rosé Champagne.
Right.
There's basically the Pinot Noir, skin contact.